we're not going the extra mile like Big Mama. Big Mama was different. Ain't no Big Mamas now.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a Pop Pop. A lot of those, that's gone because we're selfish. It's all about what we want and what we think and what we feel, not what is best for the child. Sometimes what's best for the child is for you to put your selfishness up and allow that child to grow up with the other side of the family and not keep that child away from the other side because you want to prove a point.
Absolutely. And y'all gonna mess around. Let's keep it real. Y'all gonna mess around.
I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, and that is true. You shouldn't keep your family from their other side of the family or whatever, the father side, mother side, whoever side. You shouldn't. But just like, you know, Derek, you say, oh, you gotta, you know, let your kids go through the same things that you went through. That all depends on the age they are. Because what
you're going through.
You're not going, it, like I said, depends on their ages, because you do have very mean people that surround your kids. Right. So if my child is a child, I'm not subjecting my child to some toxic ass person talking about them or calling them names or whatever the situation may be. We're not doing that, especially at a young age. Now, when they get older, that's something different. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kendra Conversations. I'm your host, Kyra. Yeah, I look a little busted today. I just got off of work and tired. So yeah, you know, this is what y'all getting today. Sorry. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. I did. I just got back from Maryland and I had so much fun. And I apologize that we did not come on last Tuesday. You know, things happened. We wasn't present. I forgot to post to say we was canceled. Thank you, Pinky, once again for letting me know. I did a boo-boo. But we are here today in good spirits and in good health. And we're going to have a good show. So let's get Mr. Roshawn Davis out here.
What up? How everybody doing out there? Welcome back. Glad everybody's in good health. Let's get it popping.
Hi, Sean. How you doing? How was your day today?
It was all right. I just woke up. So what you get is what you're going to get.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, everybody, let's bring on the one and only Mr. Deacon.
First, I want to say is that boy good. You heard he was going in. That boy was dropping some knowledge. He was like, stop being selfish. You was giving a sermon.
Yeah, you need to replay that shit.
Could you bring me another peach? I was like, I was getting excited all over again. I said, this boy dropping some jewels here.
That was a good episode.
Where Big Mama at? Where Pop Pop at? Find you a Big Mama and a Pop Pop.
Oh, Lord.
They gone. They gone. Far in between.
The Big Mama at the club now. Big Mama go by the name Geraldine now.
Yeah. You know ain't no Geraldines out there. You know ain't no Geraldines out there.
Big Mama is not out the club.
Ain't nothing.
No, who? Did you say Geraldine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ain't no more Geraldines.
Mm,
You know that.
mm.
Geraldine at the club.
All right, people. As you can see, the topic is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and it says, "What does commitment look like in 20?" And the way I feel, it ain't looking like much. But hey, who am I to talk? That's just my perspective. But
It looking like much.
it ain't looking like much. 'Cause, I don't think people even know what commitment is anymore.
That's true.
I don't think they know what you don't think they know what it looks like?
I don't think they know what it look like. I don't think they know what it is. I don't think they ever touched it, tried it, pursued it.
They don't want no parts of it.
There are no parts of what commitment really is.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's just my opinion. Yeah, I may feel a different way, but for me, everybody is a quitted person. Nobody's committing to nothing these days.
Except for getting that.
Everybody is expendable. Your relationships are expendable. Your children are expendable. Everything is expendable. Nobody is trying to be like, I'm in it to win it. I'm working hard. We ain't breaking up. Yeah, that shit is gone. I don't know where it went. But it ain't here. Not in 20.
So we looking for instant gratification, you say?
If I'm wrong, correct.
Hmm? That's what we're looking for? Instant gratification? No, I said we're looking for instant gratification. That's what we're looking for?
That's what they're looking for. That is what they're looking for, not I.
That's interesting.
I think we got some videos. I think we have some videos. Derek, don't play all of them. Just play like one or two. And then we'll definitely get into
it. The only recipe to a long-term successful relationship is to never leave. To never leave. That's the only way you can get 30, 40 years. To never leave. Yeah. Because we're going to go through some things. And there's going to be a lot of things that I say, this is it. This is the non-negotiable. Right? But if I really am in it to be in it forever, like from the beginning, before I meet a man, I'm saying when I commit, I'm just doing this forever. That means I'm signing up and forgiving you before you do any of the bullshit you may come with. And that's challenging, but that's what real commitment is. Commitment is I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, no matter how I feel. That goes back to what? Emotional intelligence.
Right.
Emotional intelligence is a nucleus to any healthy relationship. If I'm committing to you and you piss me off, I've committed to stay. So where am I going? Where am I going? Doesn't mean I can't take a break. Doesn't mean I can't take a pivot. I can't go to brunch. I can't meditate. Can I take a weekend of woosah? But that means I'm not leaving you. And as an abandoned woman, thank God I've evolved into a place of deeper than just not leaving you, meaning leaving the relationship, but I've also had to learn to not leave you in this emotion of distraught. Because leaving you while you're in your emotion is the pit of abandonment. That's worse than me walking out and returning. I should be able to sit in this with you, upset or not upset, until our emotions do whatever they're going to do and we get back to baseline. Right. Because that is the epitome of deliverance. That's the epitome of commitment.
Come on now, Dr. Bryant.
Everybody leaving everybody.
So, what are y'all?
That's it? No more
What is
video?
your opinion?
That was a mouthful.
I'm just
more
asking. I don't
videos.
want the problem.
That
It's,
right there.
it's more,
No,
but
we got more. We got plenty
that was
more.
a big one. That was a big one because that was a mouthful. Because people, that's the biggest change of commitment in 2025. Nobody's staying. I'm committed until you piss me off, and then when you piss me
At
off,
all.
I gotta protect my peace.
My peace. That's what it is.
That's what it's called, right? That's what they tell you. It sounds good. That's what's on the T-shirt.
I mean, I think it's nonsense, but I get it.
Protecting your peace is nonsense.
I think the cliche, because nobody's perfect. Everybody has their ish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so a lot of people say, they may be protecting their peace, but they may have done a lot of nonsense along the way.
To jack off everybody else's peace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you done pissed off a bunch of people. You done did your nonsense, and now you done found God. You wanna protect your peace. Well, whatever you found, whatever.
You ain't find God, because if you found God, you wouldn't already know that protecting your peace is not biblical.
A lot of this stuff is conversation pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just Facebook friendly.
Right.
It's just for post.
Right. It looked good.
I remember maybe a year or two ago when that those terms, because we get these terms every once in a while, right? We get these terms every once in a while. I'm not safe. I don't feel safe.
Right.
I'm protecting my peace. Like all of these different terminologies and words that just get thrown out there. And I said to somebody, before you feel like you need to protect your peace, you need to apologize to a lot of people for all of the nonsense that you done did, because you done disrupted somebody else's peace along the way.
Come on, somebody.
I mean, and it was like, oh, well, I don't feel I should have to apologize if I'm on the journey of protecting my peace. Then it's not a true thing. It's not a true thing. It's selfish. Now you done did all of your nonsense. You don't feel like helping somebody to protect it because they still may be holding on to something that you may have done. And now you just feel like I'm good. I can just check my boxes off and just go off into the sunset. No, it don't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't, but people think it do because everybody is just selfish.
Selfish, but selfish is the name of the game. Selfish is the name of the game,
even though people say I have to put myself first, and
right. Those only like I said, selfish is the name of the game in 2025. If you're looking at commitment, the first commitment is I'm committed to myself. I'm not committed to anybody else. So you get the cliches. I'm protecting my peace. You get those other cliches that's come out that looks good and looks good on a shirt because it speaks to the selfishness that we are now stepping into. If I'm not good, nobody else can be good.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's just I just feel like being that selfish person without righting your wrongs is very ignorant to me. It's like when you hear people when they done did whatever they did, and now people done maybe they're done with them, and they say, oh, well, now I got to do what I got to do. I got to handle. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do now because you done burnt so many bridges. That's all you have.
Right.
Because you had
Yeah.
the help, you had, the village, but you burnt so many bridges. Now you got to do what you got to do, and you got to protect your peace. When maybe if you pulled everybody back in and say, hey, you know what? I apologize for everything that I did. I'm a changed person. It will never happen again. We're going to move the right way now, and not just because accountability is not just saying my bad, is changing the behavior so it don't happen again. That's a big part of accountability that a lot of people leave out, is changing the behavior so it don't happen again. Because the same way we don't like to feel attacked or disrespected, give that same feeling to the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't like to do that all the time because our selfishness wants what it wants. So we got to be selfless.
Okay, so I just want to read. I want to read the definition of commitment. And the definition of commitment is a promise to do something or act in a particular way. Dedication, loyalty, faithfulness, allegiance, attachment, steadfastness. It applies to various areas, including relationships, work, personal goals, and beliefs.
I'm glad
in relationships, a commitment often signifies a strong intention to be with someone. Huh? What you said, Sean?
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything.
In relationships, commitment often signifies a strong intention to be with someone and build a future together. It involves providing unwavering support, understanding, and loyalty even during difficult times. Commitment in a relationship often entails shared goals and a willingness to work together towards a common vision. So that's what it means in a relationship. That's the definition for a relationship. Now, if you're talking about personal goals, it says commitment to personal goals requires consistent effort and perseverance, even when faced with setbacks. It means taking action and making a conscious effort to achieve one's goals rather than simply having intentions. Commitment often requires self discipline and the ability to prioritize one's goals over distractions. So that is the definition of commitment. I hope y'all all heard it and understand it.
Now, I think the biggest problem with a lot of people is when selfishness kick in, is putting your own selfish whatever to the side for the benefit of that other person, not realizing that putting your own selfish stuff to the side to benefit that other person may benefit you even more later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because you can pour into somebody.
I think that people no longer have I think in this day and age, I'm a little bit like I'm a little bit more old schoolish, but I'm always around younger people. So but I think that they don't have the patience anymore. People have gotten to the point where, like I said earlier, people are just expendable. There is no more of that. There's no more intent. People just don't have good intentions anymore. It's just like either you're gonna do what I want you to do, and if you don't do it, I'm out. Peace. And that's it. If I say if you're in a relationship and that person is saying, okay, I want you to I feel like you should be doing this and da 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 da, and you don't change or you don't do it as quickly as that person would like you to. It's like, all right, peace, I'm out. I told you
So,
once.
so it's a thing
I'm
of
not-
convenience.
Yeah, it's convenient for people to just be in and out. That's why ain't nobody got no damn where you ain't no long lasting relationships. People just break up like it ain't no tomorrow. Every time you turn, even on TV, people is just breaking up. Celebrities, I'm getting a divorce. I'm getting this. I've been married to him for 16 years. I'm done.
Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. because I've heard this before. Some people will sacrifice their happiness for their family, but then there's others that will sacrifice their family for their happiness.
Right.
Have we heard that before?
Yep. Most men will sacrifice their happiness for their family, and most women will sacrifice their family for their happiness. Because if they're not good, how can they be good for their family?
Which is a crock of bull crackadackle.
I try to keep it I try to keep Ginger out of it. as y'all can see.
I'm just saying that's a bunch of bullshit. That's just when you say people, you mean the women that are ending the relationships. Thomas, this is not gonna be your one-sided. Everything is about the woman, this, that, and the next. Okay.
I don't see where he's lying, but okay.
What?
I said I don't see where he's lying, but
y'all act like men don't break up with women. Y'all act like men don't in relationships. They do.
Men do in relationships, but most times the ending of a relationship for a man has to be pushed to the brink of the earth before he makes a decision like, okay, I'm out of this. But like they done been locked up, they done been beat in their head, their car done been damaged, they done did all these things before they say, you know what, I'm done. Where a woman, you let the toilet seat up and she can do bad all by herself.
Poor man.
Right. I'm glad you recognize it.
I'm gonna take a sip for y'all.
That's all we get.
We get one sip.
Remember, you got sons.
I sure doing love them to death.
We ain't talking about your love.
I love them to death, but guess what? Life happens, and my kids and my son's gonna have to go through what they're gonna have to go through, and that's gonna be on them.
That's tough.
I done raised them.
That's tough. So, I mean, I get it.
It is what it is. I did my job. Now the rest, that's up to them. If they choose to get in these relationships and let these girls do what they do, then hey, that's okay. I ain't got nothing to say.
I mean, listening to Derek, say what he said. There's no true way besides polls, right? To know what that percentage is of how many women in their relationships, how many men in their relationships. But there is data that you can see that that'll tell you who in marriages. And in marriages, 80% of women is the ones who end marriages for whatever their reasons. So that's the only data that you can truly see, because that's paperwork that has to go in. But girlfriend, boyfriend, there's no real way to really look at that. So, just to support or just add clarity to what he was saying. In marriages, yes, 80% of women, 80% of marriages is ended by women.
I
What you found?
I only found it said in 2022, around 76% of men and 62% in comparison, around 67% of men and 30% of women. That's the only thing I could find.
What? That percentage is of what?
I'm still looking. I said that was the only thing.
Oh no, you just said the percentages. You didn't say what the percentages was about.
Okay, here we go. Why
Yeah,
are you talking about gay people?
Hmm? You said why they talking about gay people?
Because that I thought I whispered that.
No, I saw that data
what
too.
I see.
I saw that data. I saw that data that in gay marriages.
Yeah, they say that higher. Yeah, it's like a higher percentage of
For women.
breakups and divorce
For women.
in gay marriage.
For women is it's around 75%. Yeah, it's like 75% in gay marriages for women ends in divorce, and around 25% gay marriages end for men. You know, you just giving ammunition to Derek and Thomas.
I don't pay Thomas no attention.
Yes, you do. Every time he comment, you answer.
I do not. I just let him know that we ain't doing this one lopsided nonsense.
Let me ask this. And to be honest, and then I'm gonna step back. Why do you feel it's one-sided or lopsided nonsense when we're just talking about the issues?
Because you always coming at women, and that's it. So to me, if you only gonna come after women, then it's one-sided.
So he do, but I'm talking about like he's just adding to the conversation.
But that's what
I'm talking about as a whole, the conversation as a whole. Because I'll say this: a lot of men feel like they can't have this conversation because anytime they have a conversation like this, it's the pushback from the women when men talk about issues on the women's side. We're open to talk about issues. We're open to talk about issues.
You could talk about issues on the women's side. That's all cool and dandy. You could talk about it. We can have a conversation about it. But everything is not always just a woman's fault.
No, of course not.
Everything is not always just a woman's fault, especially when you're in a relationship. In order for a relationship to break, it takes two to break up a relationship, not just one.
Really? Because the prophet R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up.
If you have, you have issue, what?
I said the prophet R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up.
What? Oh God. I know damn well you ain't okay. I'm gonna slip on that one.
But no. But
what Kelly gets a sip too.
But no,
he gets a double sip.
I'm just
Well,
my
saying.
thing is that yes, can you sit around the table and can you talk about it? Absolutely. And I'm not gonna say you're gonna get a lot of pushback if you're having an honest conversation, but you can't everything can't always be the woman is the woman that the woman did this, the woman did that, the woman did that. What do y'all do? Do y'all ever do anything?
We leave the toilet seat up.
can I if I can add to what you're saying. If I can add to what you're saying, like being in forums, right? In different forums. And if you got 5 men and 5 women, when we talk about the issues of men, we can have a whole conversation and it'll go around the table, around the table, around the table. But then when the issues come up of women, it'll get to like 1, 2, and then it'll blow all up. And we never get to have the conversations about the issues with women because it automatically becomes a problem. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that just target one side. I'm just saying when it comes to talking about the issues of that, the men become bashers and the conversation never gets to where it needs to get to for correction because it turns into something else. But we can talk about the men for an hour. I think that's the issue. It's not a thing of we can't talk about both. Like I said, we can talk about the issues of men for an hour long, but as soon as it's time for us to talk about the flip side of that, is where you got the problem.
I personally don't see a problem with it being talked about whatever, what y'all feel are issues with females. I don't see an issue with that. And I don't see why there would be pushback unless somebody gets offended. Then that's I'm not saying that I don't see it. What I'm saying is I do not see why there is an issue because I could watch women just as well sit at a round table and talk about both. It could be men and women, and it's a wonderful conversation. Maybe it's just the people that's at the table.
How many times have you seen or done that?
You can't always get offended because yes, I may be a woman, but if it's like if I
see that's why God's shutting you off because we know you're lying.
Attacked, then yes, you're gonna get pushback from me because I'm gonna.
That's why God keeps shutting you off because he know you're lying.
What?
Because you were
we ain't heard nothing you said. God was protecting us.
I had told you from the door that my internet is messed up. Like I keep going.
God already knew you were gonna be coming with this bull.
Right. It's no bullshit. The truth is the truth. If you don't want pushback, don't offend nobody. If otherwise, you're gonna get what you're gonna get because I'm offended. You can't tell me how to feel about something that you say. If
I'm a true believer.
I feel offended. If I want to address it, I address it in a way that I feel as though I want to address it.
I'm a true believer. I'm a true believer, and the oppressor doesn't have the right to tell the oppressed when and where to feel oppressed or how to like. I'm a true believer in that. Fact. But we all know that
take to feel oppressed. Or how oppression should feel to them.
Yes, I'm a true believer in that, so I would never challenge that. But I'm pretty sure that we've had a lot of shows.
I'm saying maybe that.
Let me finish. We had a lot of shows. We've seen a lot of videos. We've had a lot of conversations. We've been in a lot of different rooms. To whereas, like even we can check Facebook posts. To whereas when there's issues about men's issues, it's more of an open discussion than when there is with women issues. Not saying that it's not done or seen, but I'm pretty sure, and I done tagged you and stuff. I've tagged both of you guys in a lot of different videos and a lot of different discussions. And we've seen that when it's time to talk about men issues, it's we can talk and talk and talk and talk. When it's time to talk about women issues. So when we're speaking of commitment, I think that holding each other accountable, having the conversations with each other, raising each other, the village. You know, the one thing that I always put on my pages is one of the best ways for a young man to be a man is to see a man. I mean, to have those conversations on because I don't believe that a man or a woman should go through any and everything. I don't believe that, to go through any and everything. No, I don't believe that.
To me,
I don't believe that a man or a woman should go through any and everything. Like you're a human being. You deserve your happiness. You deserve, your dignity and your respect. You deserve all of that stuff. But we all make sacrifices. We all make sacrifices. We can't sit here and say, oh, well, Big Mama and Pop Pop went through what they went through, and we should mirror that. Because everybody is not going to look at it that way.
Right.
Because a lot of us are not built that way. You know what I mean? Like we had a show before to where when we were talking about generational trauma, and I was saying that, for the most part, our parents' generation, which was in between us and grandma, changed that narrative from grandma to mommy and them, where mommy and them was like, nah, I ain't going through what she went through. But then we seen a decline of family. Because everybody went to Big Mama's house. Everybody, knew Big Mama, was that deal. To whereas like now, we even just said it a little while ago, Big Mama now is at the club.
Brenda.
And that wasn't a thing.
Because grandmother's younger now.
Yes, we went to Big Mama house on Sunday and had soul food Sundays. That was my mother's house. Everybody went to my mother's house on Sunday, and everybody cooked and helped cook. And we sat down. All the kids were there. All the kids ran around. We may have went outside in the back, or that was now. That whole mindset and that whole ideology is lost because it's no longer about the family unit like that. It's about you.
Exactly.
So where did we go wrong?
It doesn't exist in 2025.
So where did we go wrong?
After this generation is where it went wrong.
When Brenda left the kitchen and went to the club,
that's when the grandmother started getting younger.
Right. When grandma stopped watching the kids and said, "You raise your own kids. I got a life." That's when things started changing. When Big Mama stopped being Big Mama, and Brenda put away her church clothes and changed them out for the liquid leathers, so she can go out with girlfriends. That's when it all changed.
The
I got
liquid,
days. I got a whole bunch of times when it changed.
the liquid leathers.
Yeah, the liquid leather pants. Hello, Mr. Tap. How are you doing?
Can we throw out
On
there?
Instagram.
Can we throw out there anybody that wants to join in the conversation? They're welcome. The link is
You
in the
just threw it
chat.
out there. The link is in the chat.
Anybody want to come on? Come on up.
Okay, we're gonna throw this up.
What ultimately commitment is, which is really loving and caring for somebody, for being who they are and all that comes with that. And, again, I think it's a choice. It's okay to not want that. But I don't think that in order to have that, you have to lose yourself.
Right.
Because it's you that has decided to give yourself to that.
What?
Yeah. All right.
Marriage is hard, but because your marriage is hard does not give you a license to divorce your spouse. We've been so accustomed to walking away from what makes us uncomfortable that we forget we make promises at the altar to each other. There is no marriage that is easy, and what you get out of that marriage is the result of what you invest into that marriage. God never promised that marriage would be easy. God never promised that you would like your spouse every single day. Two becoming one is difficult work because the enemy hates marriage and he works overtime to keep you at odds with each other. And he does so by twisting the narrative of what you hear so that you react a certain way to your spouse. Jen can say something to me and the devil asks me, you hear how she talked to you? Did you hear how she called your name? And then the Holy Spirit on this side said, judge her by the Spirit, not by what you think. And so instead of reacting, when I spend time with the Lord, when she spends time with the Lord, we respond. The reason so many marriages end in divorce is because married folks stop investing in each other, because it has become popular and commercialized to just press the eject button when you feel uncomfortable. Marriage is
Now I agree with that to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
But
What's the extent? If you don't mind me asking. What's the certain extent?
the certain extent is like when he says, I know everybody, when they get married, they do it in their own way. I'm not as churchy as everybody else is, but I don't think like the devil is knocking at your door telling you, oh, this and that, or whispering in your ear. I just think that's just how a person is. They want respect. And if your spouse is talking to you in a disrespectful way or speaking to you in a disrespectful way, it's not the devil saying it to you. It's the fact that this is not how you want to be treated. This is not how you want to be spoken to. And it's okay for me, it's okay for you to correct somebody and say, don't talk to me like that in a respectful manner.
Interesting. Don't talk to me like that? How does that sound respectful?
Uh-oh.
I say you can say it in a respectful way.
But that's why I asked how does saying that
not to talk to me in a disrespectful manner.
How does that go over into how does that transfer?
You have a conversation and you let them know that you didn't like how they spoke to you. You don't have to say, don't talk to me like that, but you can say, we was having this conversation and you raised your voice at me and I didn't like it. To me, it was disrespectful. And I'm going to ask you going forward if you could just speak to me in a more calmer voice.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I just wanted to see what it sounded like.
You ain't got to go at somebody's throat.
I just want to see if you were.
If I may add to that, because I believe we give grace to our significant other. Some people give grace. I believe people give grace when it's convenient for the things that they just want to accept. I believe there's a difference in passion and disrespect, when raising your voice. Some people can talk in passion, be passionate about what they're talking about, and their voice elevates, but they're not necessarily disrespectful.
Right.
There's people that is very disrespectful, you know what I mean? It has nothing to do with their passion. I also believe that in relationships, there are certain things that you should never say, and there's areas that you should never go. Right? So if you have that type of connection and conversations in respect, to never say certain things to disrespect your significant other, and it's out of passion where they're expressing themselves. I truly believe, and I've seen to where some people took passion as disrespect instead of giving that person grace and say, hey, you know what? When you're ready to calm down and have this conversation, let's revisit this. Or, catering to that person's need at that time instead of making it about you, like that person's disrespecting you when they're not. They're just being passionate about where they are at the moment and saying, you know what, let me be there for that person. Because sometimes we listen with the intent to respond versus the intent to listen and learn. We're on a defense versus being there for our partner when our partner needs us. And I truly believe that. We can be sitting there and see that person's passionate about something and they feeling a way about it, and they may be escalating their voice out of passion and not necessarily disrespect. And we're just ready to push back. Like, yo, you ain't, when it's like, no, that person needs me right now. So I'm going to take this loss so the relationship can get a win.
That's powerful.
You get what I'm saying? Where a lot of people don't know how to do that. I'm going to take this loss so the relationship can get a win. And then we'll revisit the conversation later so we can tie it all back in together and push forward to where we need to go. Where a lot of people don't know how to do that. Because it's always about defense, when it ain't always about that. Sometimes you got to lose the win. Sometimes you got to let some things go. Sometimes you got to let some things slide. Sometimes that person needs you, and sometimes they need you more in confidence and in empathy more than they need the battle and the fight. I mean, it's like you're working at a job, right? And you've been a good standing employee all these years. And this is where empathy comes into play. You've been a good employee for 2-3 years. And then now you're coming in late, or you got an attitude, you snapping. And instead of the employer saying, hey, you've been a little sideways recently, you've been this or you've been that, you need to, knock it off or we're going to let you go. Instead, you can approach the situation like, hey, I've noticed that, you changed a little bit. Maybe something is going on at home. Maybe it's something that's going on with you. If you need me, or if you need us, let us know. But, we've noticed that there's been, a little change in the way that you're doing things. This is not you. So if you need us, that's approaching it with empathy instead of defense. And a lot of people do that in relationships. They'll see somebody that they know for years or for months or whatever, and they know that, you know, it's maybe not them, but instead they'll give them that defense mechanism, or they'll go into defense mode and want to go ahead and fight instead of giving that person empathy, like, nah, this ain't them.
Mhm.
Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Let me see what's going on here. I think that's a big part of, you know, relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Allie is on Instagram. Hi Allie. I hope you're feeling better, love. She has a question. She says, so what do you do when you bring up an issue and that person just doesn't want to listen? They want to argue.
I think I just explained it.
Well, that's the question she asked.
Sometimes you gotta let people process how they feel. It's not always an argument. Sometimes a person feels a way and they need to be able to let that out rather than trying to process it internally. So sometimes it's a need for us to be a voice, not a voice of reason, but just an ear. It's not always everything doesn't have to turn into an argument. I have to be an argument. Some things could just be listening, and then listening to understand and not listening to respond.
I'm a shit starter.
So if I'm listening to understand where you're coming from, then the argument isn't so much because I felt some type of way now too. Now I took a moment to hear what you're saying, and I can say, well, that wasn't my intention, and I can apologize for it.
And you know what, to add to that a lot of people leave out.
Agrees.
A lot of people leave out. Everybody ain't qualified to handle your situations and what you got going on just because you like them. Everybody ain't qualified for that. Everybody ain't as emotionally intelligent as you would like them to be just because they handsome or they got a nice figure. I mean, we choose these people off of aesthetics or certain things that we like, and we expect them to be our everything when that's not the case, because we're picking people because of what we like instead of what we need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so always remember that everybody ain't qualified to counsel you. Everybody, I see people sitting on them phones. I see people, you know, chit chatting and these Facebook posts going, and I'll be sitting there like, hey, you know, I see some of these posts with these, you know, with men. It'd be like somebody going through what they going through, and the first thing somebody say, man, F that B. That's your friend. That's the advice you getting. That's the circle that you're in. Then I see why you think the way you think, because this is the poison in your circle. So maybe getting out of that poisonous circle and getting into a circle that can, you know, give you some elevated insight, some you know, better way of thinking may better your situation. I mean, because everybody's not qualified to counsel you just because you know them. It don't work that way.
Yeah, I can't stand Thomas. Some people do need to seek therapy, Thomas. I agree with you on that. Some people do need
100%.
to seek therapy. Okay,
100%.
some people really honestly do, but that's why part of the reason why people can't commit to people, because they ask you to be sitting in front of a therapist and getting some healing.
Yeah, they got some things going on inside. They got some stuff going on inside that they need healed, and you got to be very particular on I'll say two things.
Absolutely.
the therapist you choose, right? The therapist you choose, and when you're in therapy, how honest you are.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to therapy and you ain't honest in putting everything out there, how do you expect to get the correction or get the healing that you need? Some people go to therapy or go to counseling and tell the therapist or the counselor just what they want them to know. When they got a baggage of stuff over there, they can dump out and they may get the healing that they need. That's why it's good to bring, sometimes bring your positive, progressive people in that'll be honest with your therapy sessions so you can get the real healing that you need. Because some of us will go right into that room, get on that couch and be like, nah, it wasn't me, it was her.
Listen now.
He was tripping.
Listen now. Ain't nobody come to therapy with me. It's between me and my therapist.
Yeah.
I am
Point
so
made.
sorry.
Point made.
Now, tomorrow. No, because all of that added extra people, unless it's needed, like if it's like couple therapy, that's different. But if it's my
therapy in life too. Therapy in life too.
If it's my personal therapy for myself, for my healing, I'm not letting nobody in that because it's some things in your life that don't nobody need to know about but your damn therapist.
If your therapist can know about it, your brother can know about it. Because my point is of things that they already know of you. Because like I said, sometimes we'll go there and we'll leave out a whole bunch just to get the response that we want.
That's not therapy.
That's my point.
And
that's a lot of that happens.
If you I feel this is just my personal opinion. If you have to bring others into your therapy session to tell your therapist the type of person you are, then you're not ready for therapy.
Could be.
Because that's the whole point of going into therapy. You go into therapy so you can heal yourself. So you, everything that's ugly, nasty, good, bad, whatever that's in you is what you're supposed to be telling your therapist. Nobody should have to be your spokesperson in therapy.
I get it. I get it.
Positively, without a doubt, not ready for therapy. If you
I get it.
Honest with your therapist, you're wasting your money.
Trust me, I get it.
Ain't cheap.
I get it. But we're talking about commitment. We're talking about in relationships. Sometimes people in relationships get into these therapy sessions and they tell one-sided stories.
That is true.
They tell one-sided stories.
I think that's what couples therapy is for. If you're in a relationship and you and your partner is not y'all going to therapy, that's something different. You go into couples therapy, he gonna say what he gonna say that he's seeing you, and you gonna say what you're gonna say that you seeing him, and y'all just work it out with the therapist. So that's couple therapy. That's why do you different types of therapy? You have couple therapy, you have individualized therapy, you have family therapy.
I agree. They even changed the wording to therapeutic. So that's what I'm saying is you have people within a relationship, right, that may need therapy, right? That in a singular in a relationship setting, they need singular therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That significant other could be a part of that therapy, that therapeutic progression. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. We're talking about relationships, but just because we're in a relationship, yes, there can be singular therapeutic sessions that leads into couple sessions, because you may have a lot going on with you that don't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
Yeah,
And we have to,
exactly.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, I may need to come in to have a discussion to add to whatever you're already putting forth to your therapist.
In couple therapy.
No, not even in couples therapy. In your singular, we're a couple, but you have your issues. I may not share those same issues. You have your issues.
Derek's stupid. He said, "Get a therapeutic couple massage. It works for us."
Yeah. There's one on Godwin Ave you can go to. Is
Thomas says people go to relationship counseling and therapy. They do. Some people go to premarital counseling because they don't want to
yeah, a lot of people.
get married and have and problems. And I think that's a smart thing to do before you get married is to have premarital counseling.
I
Because
agree.
if it's some issues, work that shit. Walk your ass down that aisle.
wow.
Work it out because you may not be walking down the aisle after you get out of premarital counseling.
Yeah.
So, but I think I think people that do that, that's very smart.
Yes, because a pastor or somebody wise may point out certain things for you that you wasn't even paying attention to.
I got a question.
To whereas you may not even have to worry about getting into commitment issues because somebody already saw that you guys is not and correct me if I'm wrong, Debbie, you guys are not equally yoked. Y'all just like each other for some things.
I have a question. It doesn't have anything to do with commitment, but do y'all think, Derek and Sean, that a
No,
pastor,
we need to stay on topic. That's what the that's what
pastor be your therapist? Should a pastor
What?
be your therapist?
He can be biased, but I don't know. I've never dealt with that type of situation. I don't know that area, but I'll defer to Derek. Could there be bias there?
Yeah, there's a lot of bias. Every aspect you're gonna find there's some bias, right? Because where's my word? You're going to you want things to work out a certain way. You want things to look a certain way. So when you go into the situation, your mindset is already set on what it's going to look like or what you want it to look like. So that's where the bias begins to like kind of creep in.
Okay.
We already have these preconceived notions.
Okay.
I think like even further with where I was leading to with that is I remember looking at I don't know if it was divorce court or some type of court, but I know Judge Mathis was the whatever he's the judge of.
Oh, he don't do divorce court.
whatever he's the judge of. And it was a young girl and it was a young man. And they were talking about maybe infidelity, maybe trust issues, maybe it was something along those lines. And she was saying, "Oh, well, he's like a big man on campus. He's popular, or he's whatever, because he's in a fraternal organization." Yeah. And Judge Mathis goes, "Well, what fraternal organization he's in?" And she says, "Such and such and such and such." And he says, "Oh, all right, ooh, whatever he said." And the dude was like, "Ooh, okay." And it was like, oh, everybody knew. Court case over. Because he was a fraternity brother. So that's what I mean by bias.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it ain't even a conversation that have to be had. It's
Right.
You know, like
That's like the sisterhood.
uh,
The sisterhood is strong. They're gonna show up for each other no matter if they're right or wrong. They're still gonna show up.
Here we go. Okay, people, our hour is up. Okay, because now they want to take it to the left. And
I ain't even say nothing. Hold up, I ain't even say nothing.
I ain't about to play this game with these two men.
I ain't even say nothing.
There. And then you got Thomas in the comments. Listen, y'all, our hour is up. I ain't fooling around with Thomas, Derek, and Sean tonight.
Why you keep adding me in that? I ain't even say nothing.
Thank you, Ivory. Hi, cousin. Love you, cousin. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in tonight. I want to say thank you to the viewers that did do the survey that I put out for Candid Conversations. It was a lot of constructive criticism. So we're gonna
was nonsense.
We're gonna work on those things.
It was nonsense.
We're gonna work on those things to improve Candid Conversations and ourselves as well, because you know y'all had some nice things to say. And
I ain't even hear it yet. I'm sorry. But I'm waiting. I want to hear.
So like I said, you know, if the survey is still up, I haven't closed it yet. So whoever still wants to go on, you could go on to the Candid Conversations Facebook page, click the link, and it will take you directly to the survey. It is anonymous, so we won't know who said what, when, or where. And yeah, so thank y'all for participating and helping us make the show better for you guys. And I think, you know, that's all I have to say. Do you guys have anything that you need to say?
Like I always say, let's get back to family.
I'm about to say, well, are you going to say it? Thank you, Thomas. As always, we love you, Thomas. Hi, Derek and Danielle. I see y'all coming back on a little bit more, so thank y'all for the eyes. We appreciate you.
They're on vacation.
Huh?
They're on vacation. They're on their cruise.
Hope the baby is doing good. Oh, I need to go on a cruise. So thank y'all all for tuning in tonight. We will see y'all, I think, next week, same time, same place, same people. Until next week, peace, love, and
I'm gonna be off. I'm off. I got the night off.
He don't never get a night off.
No, you know what? Yeah, I am off, and then I'm out. I'm on my way. I'm on my way to New Orleans that night.
Yes, and I hope you have fun in New Orleans.
I'm gonna eat.
Oh, that's great, Derek. I hope you guys have a great time. Ivy stupid. Ivy said. So good night, everybody. Peace, love, and blessings. Thank y'all on Instagram also. Yes, thank you, Tina. Thank you, Instagram, for tuning in. All right, y'all. Time to go. Peace.
Not peace.
Yeesh.